Wow.
Thankful Thursday. Welcome.
Welcome to today's episode with Erin and Sarit about how to stop freaking quitting when things get really hard in the beginning, or if I don't get results fast enough, getting discouraged and frustrated and wanting to throw in the towel poo-poo. That's what today's video is about.
Today I have a very special guest, Erin Atwood. It is both of us doing it together, and I'm so excited to.
How am I a special? I'm a special guest no matter where I go.
Yeah, because I feel like I've done so many solo videos, which I love hanging out with you guys. But
So what you're saying is it's your show now.
no, what
And
I'm
I'm
saying,
a special guest.
What I'm saying is that it's great to have you here.
Oh.
Do you guys agree? If for anybody who's with us live, if you agree that it's better to have Erin with us as well, then go ahead and drop ES. Go ahead and drop ES in the chat. What's going on? Good morning.
You guys, I set up this really fancy, I was like, man, we have this really cool backdrop. Why wouldn't we just set ourselves up real fancy so we feel all special with these like special chairs?
When you get me, you get the office. When you get Erin, you get a
studio. Looks cool.
Accurate.
Hey, if you think it looks cool, drop a C.
Yes, of course. All of them want you to be in it.
Because look, here's the deal. We all wake up and we all have one thing in common. We're all gay. I'm just kidding. I had to say that. If you've seen Ellen DeGeneres' Here and Now, you get what I'm saying, the reference. However, we do have one thing in common. And what that thing is we
have a lot in common.
Anything else?
Go for it.
We all like laughing. Is anybody ever mad when they're laughing?
No.
Never. It's like oil and water, anger and laughter. Just so I'm here because that is my role. I'm very clear on it. I don't need to be smart. I just need to be really funny. So that is my hypotheses as to why they enjoy it when I'm here.
Okay.
So you can teach some stuff and I will just tell jokes. Deal?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So
unless we go to Erin's church, it's game on.
You do a lot more than just being funny. Can you guys share in the chat what do you love most about when Erin comes on the show?
Wow.
You guys, what we're doing right now is we're influencing Erin to be on those. So I need you to work with me here.
Don't start saying special, like helmet type special stuff, guys.
So coffee's life, and I will put this away because Erin's setup is really fancy.
I was really wanting to get some before this, but you guys, I put the time in.
Do you want some of this?
I might go grab just a Fit 8.
Okay, so I want to share with you guys something. Florida is out of eggs.
You're being so dramatic about it. Florida is not out of eggs. Okay, I am the mom and the dad of the household and food ordering chores. And Costco has been out of hard-boiled eggs since we moved here like a month ago.
And also egg cartons.
And that was recent.
Yeah.
Recently. So last week.
Scarce.
So this week they were out of the liquid egg whites, right? The carton egg whites. And hard-boiled eggs are at another store. You can order eggs. I ordered eggs. We got eggs, like normal eggs. Just heaven forbid you have to hard-boil them yourself.
Did you see the cartons of eggs that you got?
No.
Okay. Well, take a look afterwards.
Oh.
It's all good.
Are they edible?
Huh?
Are they edible?
Yeah, it's edible,
okay,
but
great.
I think it's different than what you had planned. So
got it.
We will figure it all out later. Okay, so
such is life. To today's conversation.
Today we are talking about, how did you name today's episode?
How to not give up when you're feeling discouraged or frustrated or tired, something like that.
Okay, so my first question to you guys is, when was the last time that you felt discouraged? When was the last time you felt frustrated or anything along those lines?
I have my notes on here.
I'll tell you when was my last time. Yesterday.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. And I'm so grateful, number one, for good habits, and number two, for a powerful support system.
I also do want to say, BTW, if you're watching this and the link that you clicked on was from Facebook or from a text message, I also would sincerely adore you so hard if you also went to your email to find the email and just open it. Just open it. It's really quite fantastic in here.
If you if you happen to be like on a device that can do that, can we ask that you do that like right now, and then just go ahead and hit done? We really appreciate your support. You guys, this whole like internet thing is a beast. So Erin knows most of the tech stuff.
Yeah, I'm also down here because I can see your comments and
Thank
stuff.
you, Sarah Morris.
Here.
You're awesome. Thanks, Jen B. You're awesome.
You guys rock. And I'll tell you the purpose to that really quickly.
Yes, share that.
Our email got hijacked. And so a lot of our emails get delivered to people's spam or promotions, even when we're literally just trying to give away free stuff. Like, we have given away a bunch of free stuff over the last few weeks. Shoulder rehab program, gluten-free recipes.
Some kind of journal too, right?
Yeah, a Road to Resilience journal that I made with like journal prompts. So if you're not a big journaler, or like, you want a journal, you're like the idea of it, or writing down your thoughts, but you don't know what to say, or you don't like to write a lot, I made that because that's me. And there's several other things that we gave away, but a lot of those emails are just going to promotions. And I'm like, this makes my heart break because I want you all to get those things. So the more you guys open our emails when they come to you, even if you like don't read it, you're like, okay, cool, some stuff, all right, or you're trying to sell me something or whatever. I don't care what you think about it. If you open it because you appreciate what we do, you appreciate the message that we have to share with people, and your life has been impacted positively because of us, I just appreciate if you open it, because that way it will help more people get those emails into their inbox rather than their spam or promotions. Okay? You rock.
Yeah, they're awesome. I see a lot of you guys are doing that. Thank you so much for doing it. And I also see some comments saying that they don't get emails anymore. So that is the exact, if you're not getting any emails.
Here's what you do. Go to your promotions. If you have Gmail, go to your promotions tab on the left-hand side. Find one of our emails, Emunah Strength. Find one of the emails and drag it into your inbox. And then if you add our email address as a contact in your contacts in your email inbox, then your emails will go to our emails will go to your inbox, and you will get all of those things. Yeah. Okay. Problem solved.
Can actually just drop it in the chat so we can make it easy for you guys.
Step by step. Step one.
Or like, where do they need to go? Because spelling Emunah Strength is hard.
Emunah.
In case you don't know what Emunah Strength stands for.
Until it's as popular as Nike, because people didn't know what that was. Nike.
I know. I called Nike, you guys. And
No, isn't that how you pronounced nice?
No,
Nick.
but I called Nike, Nike. And when I didn't speak English, you guys, I used to be so bad in English. One of my dreams was to speak English. In third grade in Israel, we start learning English in third grade. I managed to get 20% on my English test. Like, imagine just my level of.
It's good as
I'm so grateful that you're listening to me.
This is what I got on my Spanish tests. So.
But like when I would see the word nice, I would pronounce it Nick. When I saw the word time, I will pronounce it team.
Team. Okay, so we will get to today's show. So if you did see the email, or if you have looked in the description of this video, I'm just going to kick my legs up here. It's all good. You don't even know this. So I just put in some stuff. Okay. We want to talk to you about how to get through fatigue, how to keep your motivation high, how to set realistic expectations, celebrate small victories, blah, blah, blah. All things that are going to help you maintain your motivation so that you can push past. The first thing I want to talk about is a sticking point.
Okay.
And then we'll lead into your notes that you have as well. But if you've ever done squats before, and if you've ever done a squat that is heavy, you've got weight on your back, or it's in front of you, or wherever it is, you lower yourself down, and that's usually the easier part. And then you go to stand back up, and there's this little, there's this distance that you travel from the bottom of your squat back up that is the slowest. It's like you squat down, and then you go a little ways up, and then it's like you stop. And then you push through, and then you can stand up all the way.
It happens in a push-up too.
Same thing in a push-up. Lower down, and then boom, right? Once you get past a certain point, that sticking point, it's a lot easier to continue and follow through. The same thing with weight loss. There's a sticking point. So when you start or you restart, okay, on your journey, and you set yourself up, and you got all your foods made, and everything's ready on Sunday night, and we're going to go after it tomorrow. You wake up, you get your workout done, you're eating good, and you go through the first week like hot, like really good. And then you start to feel tired. Your body starts to feel sore. You start to wonder if it's working. You know, excuses and justifications start to tempt you to not do what you set out to do. And that's the sticking point. Because when you push through that point, it gets easier. Okay, so, and I use the word easier with caution, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. But you go down for a push-up, boom, that's the start, right? You start quick, and then you get this sticking point. And then you have to push through. And what does that require? That requires grit. That requires resilience. That requires force. It's hard. And all of that is okay. It's just reality.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get past that, boom. But then you have to do another rep. So there's another sticking point, and there's another sticking point, and there's another sticking point. And for the rest of your life, you will have sticking points. It's ebb and flow, baby. Okay. So on your weight loss journey, on your body transformation journey, even coaches on our team, I know I've spoken with Danny about this, or Danny has mentioned this several times, where she's like, dude, there's still things that I learn. For me too, there's still things that I learn that I can get better at, that I don't do as well as I'd like to do. And so you will always come up against another sticking point. Okay. Know that that is perfectly a part of the process. And when you get through that first and hardest sticking point, you are stronger. Then when the next one comes, get through that one, you are stronger. Then the next one comes, and then you just realize, this is that shit. Okay. And you make your way through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want me to keep talking?
Yeah.
Okay. So each sticking point that you get through, you think, like, when we think about weight loss, or we think about this transformation journey, we think, it's going to be linear. I'm just going to go from 100. I'm just going to go from 215 pounds, and then I'm going to go to 200, and then I'm going to get under 200, and then I'm going to get to 185, and then I'm going to get to one, and then I'm going to make 140, and I'm going to be brilliant. But what happens is you go a little ways, and then you might take a little step back. What most people do in that little step back is they go all the way back and then some. But if you know that there is a little step back, then you get to recognize that and say, okay, this is my opportunity to learn why I'm taking a step back, and to also know this is not my destiny. I get to learn from this moment. So when you work out, your muscles get really sore. Okay. Your muscles tore. They're broken down. You've injured them. You've broken them. You've torn them. They need to recover. So the next day, they're not as strong because they're fatigued. Okay. You lose a little bit of weight and you go back a little bit. That's the same thing. Same thing as like, I just worked out really hard. Now my muscles are really sore. If I try to do the same workout that I did yesterday, I'm not going to do it as well because I'm fatigued. But if I give it time, this magical resource that we have called time, then I can assess what's happening here, understand it's okay, it's part of the process, and then I can move forward further. Then when I go bench press the next day or do push-ups, not the next day, the next week or the next month or 3 months later, and I've been consistent, I will be stronger because I pushed through all those sticking points and I didn't give up when it took a little tiny step back.
Yep. Great job.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to put on my teacher's cap. And if we were to like get to the mechanics of it, I actually created an acronym for this as you were speaking. Yes.
Wow, just now.
Yes.
Let's
now.
find out how fancy this acronym is.
So it is called EGEF, Eggeth. Back in English class, I would call it Eggeth. Okay, so
that sounded the same as what you just said before.
So basically, it's a four-step process. So the first thing is expect it. You know, the issue lies in the fact, you know, last night in the inner circle call, we shared some things that are pretty similar to some of what we talk about here. And, you know, I was mentioning the analogy of how in today's day and age, we are told that, you know, Lisa lost 35 pounds in 35 minutes by eating donuts and, you know, like just not really doing anything. It was so easy for her. And like, look at me, right? Like I barely lifted my finger and I lost 35 pounds in 35 minutes, right? So then it's like in the real world, when you're like, okay, you either just join the 14-day transformation kickstart challenge, or maybe, you know, you just started the rocking body, or, you know, maybe you're in inner circle or whatever it may be, right? You're like, okay, cool. And then day 3 happens and you're like, dude, my energy's low. What the? I'm, you know, like, am I the only one who's going through this? Maybe there's a little bit of shame involved, right? And maybe you're like, oh gosh, maybe what Lisa from the schoolyard said, maybe she's right. Maybe I should just take that injection. Maybe I should just do that surgery. Or yes, okay, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it's too late for me. And whatever.
They're over there.
Oh, I'm looking at you guys in the comments. So
it's
listen,
new. It's new.
With me, there's no tech. You just get a screen and I look at you. So
in a notebook with some cool graphs.
Yeah. So, you know, whatever story we end up telling ourselves as to why this is not made for us, why something is wrong with us, just accept it. It's a part of the process. It's just like when you are pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, whether it's with your push-ups, whether it's with your squats, if you're doing pull-ups, it happens really in any exercise. It happens in any area of life too. You hit a sticking point. You just gotta accept the sticking point.
Sticky, ick, ick, ooh, ooh.
Now, we, for some reason, we feel like because we are ready to change, that the experience of change is going to look like a before and after.
Ooh, like a
When
photo
that is
side by side.
Yeah, when that is just a snapshot of the process. So
That doesn't tell you all the shit that happened in between photos.
that's right. So whether it's going to happen to you on day 2, day 3, day 13, day 33, or maybe year number 3, it's just going to happen. It's a part of life. Without sticking points, there's no growth. There's no growth in your muscles. There's no growth in your mind. There is no growth in your character. And the question that you should ask yourself when all of these limiting beliefs,
It's a microphone.
when all of these limiting beliefs, come around, is rather than listening to, whatever Lisa from camp or George from the schoolyard said, is remembering this thought, that what's for you on the other side. Okay. And nobody talks about it because everybody tells you it needs to be easy. And if it's not easy, then you're doing it wrong. Show me someone who can do push-ups like a machine and ask them about their struggle with push-ups. And they'll tell you. Pros make hardships look easy because of the character that they developed and because of the hardships that they've overcome. Okay, but you gotta throw a ball 10,000 times in order for you to make it look easy. You gotta kick a ball 1,000,000 times in order to make it look easy. And when you do it the first time, the first week, the first month, the first year, you're like, dude, why am I not like LeBron James yet?
You got to eat 1,000 salads to make eating a salad look easy.
And the things that happen is that we also now, because of those limiting beliefs, we now start to look for shiny objects to validate our limitations, right? Like,
or for a quicker result.
Yeah.
Because what we just did didn't work fast enough. So now I got to try something that also claims to work faster.
Yeah.
Because I'm behind.
Yeah. Injections, surgeries, all of that. The problem with that is that when you try to change your outside without creating a change on the inside, the outside is going to eventually turn back to be the same.
The external version of you represents what's inside.
Yep. Okay, so that's the first E. Just expect for it to happen.
Expect the results you want. Yeah? That's what you mean?
No, expect the sticking point to happen. Do not deny the fact that you're going to hit a sticking point.
Got it.
Okay, and for some of you guys, your sticking point is going to be day 3. For some of you guys, your sticking point is going to be your 3rd hour. Some of you guys is going to be day 30. Some of you guys is going to be year 3. I want to know from you guys who are here with us live. What is your sticking point tolerance? In the sense that, how long does it take for you to take yourself outside of your comfort zone before you hit a sticking point? Would love to know. The next thing is you get through it. The only way up is through. When you do a push-up, the only way for you to get through that, sticking point is the push-up, is to continue applying the force. This is the separator, the G. Just because, you've hit that hard spot in your push-up, and this is all mental, by the way. It's all mental. When you push through a sticking point, it is not because you're the strongest woman in the room. It's not. It's because you gave up the best fight in the room. That's what it is. So getting through it, it's like, okay, I'm going to apply force. And then when that same voice is like, oh, no, that's it, you're maxed out, you're going to be like, bitch, I ain't stopping. So you keep on.
How is that again?
You know what I mean? Your way around, and eventually you get through it. It might not look sexy. If you haven't gotten through the same sticking point a bunch of times and you've trained yourself through this sticking point, do not think that it's going to look sexy. But this is what people expect for it to look like. You go through your first, sticking point and you're like, yes, I'm going to come out of it looking like a ballerina. No. Wish I could tell you that any differently. That's not the case.
What if you don't want to look like a ballerina?
Huh?
I don't want to look like a ballerina.
Well,
I want to look like an American gladiator, like one of those bad bitches with the little, like, big tooth. What are those things called?
Earbuds?
No, the one that cleans your ears. Cotton swab, ear swab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know those big, the jousting stick? I want to look like an American gladiator.
Yeah, but I mean, when I say sticking point, I'm not sure, like, whatever it is you're currently walking through sticking point. But yes, you're talking about big picture sticking point.
Yeah, I mean, you said come out looking like a ballerina. I just had a different idea. Carry on.
Well, and I mean, it's up to our own interpretation, right? Like, for me, why I thought about a ballerina is because ballerinas just act with so much finesse. Right?
I would love to know from you guys, what is the vision that you don't need to, like, it's not I want to be like somebody else type of thing. But if you were to describe, or if you were to name a type of person or athlete or whatever, that is like an ideal vision of like my greatest me, put it in the comments. What would that be like? What would that be like? Okay.
So then the next thing is just embrace it. Learn to embrace it. And it's going to take, I believe, that you embrace your sticking points in two ways. Number one, you got to have a support system. Like last night.
We crushed it.
Yeah, we did. Thanks to you. I was going through a sticking point yesterday. Left to your own devices, and when you're going through a sticking point, you're going to stay in that sticking point. Just saying. And then you want to find the lessons as you're walking through the sticking points. It's like, okay, lean in for support. And then afterwards, okay, what's the lesson in it? Okay, the lesson is that my sticking point is 5 push-ups in a row before I hit a sticking point. The sticking point is that when I sleep this many hours, I feel so-and-so way afterwards, right? It's about finding the lessons on the other side and then adapting and conquering. And lastly, focus on where you're going. Because what
is that the third one?
That's the last one.
What's the third one?
The third one is embrace it.
And then what's the fourth one?
Focus on where you're going. The only way for you to feel inspired to embrace the suck is to know what it's all about in the first place. When you feel connected to that, you're being pulled. Otherwise, you're going to lead into it with resistance, which whenever there is a sticking point, there's resistance in the first place. However, when you're not pulling yourself out of whatever it is, you're letting the force of the resistance of the sticking point, along with the force that you're creating internally, to create a greater force than the force that is pulling you. And therefore, you will stay there. This is why, like, if you take 100 people who are like, yes, I am going to, drop weight or whatever, only 5 of them are actually going to make it through the sticking points to get there, whatever that there looks like for them. And only one person out of those 5 people is gonna hold on to it to a point where they never go back. You got to walk through the steps. You got to appreciate the steps, and you got to have all of the ingredients in the step. When you want to bake a cake, you can have the best ingredients. However, if there's one ingredient missing, the cake is not going to bake the same exact way. And the same thing goes with your own transformation.
And a sticking point is one of the ingredients.
Yeah.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, I'd love to know from you, if you can put it in the comments, how many times have you stopped and then started over because of frustration of not getting results fast enough, or because you got really tired and then you allowed like 1 day or 2 days off or of rest to kind of expand into a week or 2 weeks or 2 months or longer? And what's like the major hurdle in that? Is it like, I want results faster? Is it that like, I don't have enough discipline to just push through? Is it that my surroundings are not supportive of me? Like, what's the major thing that we're not blaming? We're not blaming that thing, because ultimately we are the ones responsible for ourselves.
It's ownership.
But we're acknowledging what is not helping us, or what is creating resistance for us to get past that sticking point.
Do you want some?
I'm good, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, have some.
So I'll tell you what it normally is.
Well, you're going to speak for everybody?
No.
You?
We're going to get connected with what you guys are saying, but I'll tell you what it normally comes down to.
Like as a general statement?
Yeah.
Let's hear it, ma'am.
Comes to one of 3 things. Maybe all 3 things. Either systems, you have no system.
You guys are going crazy.
To follow, to get through, right? You're just kind of like, like a leaf in the wind, flailing. The wind is going northwest, 15 miles an hour, you go this way. The wind goes southeast, 35 miles per hour, you go that way, right? So no system. No system is always, you're just, your threshold for your sticking point is going to be extremely low, and you're going to face it time and time again, very frequently. No structure. You're gonna do what you know. You're gonna probably lean into what you feel comfortable with, right? Like something that I see very often is that health conscious people might have a structure with regards to their workout. However, when it comes to other lifestyle habits, they have not even considered it. So you're only going to tap into so many levels based on the structure that you have, which is a part of the system. And then the last thing is support. I don't care how good your system is. I don't care how good your structure is. You need support from multiple people, because the resistance is so high. Okay, read it.
There's so many good things, you guys. There's so many good things. And I'm like, we could do a topic on the trends. But the trends that I see are not feeling like, well, one thing that I immediately saw was all of you guys are like more than I can count, or like dozens of times, or more than I remember, or oh hell, I have no idea. That was an answer. Not having enough discipline. Okay. Being overwhelmed or overconsumed by like all of the everything that's going on in life, and like running out of time, like feeling like I'm running out of time, like I can't fit it into my schedule. Wanting results faster. Discipline again. trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that you guys are here. And something else that I want to ask is that if you have a friend or somebody that's in a similar position, or a family member or something, and they have also been kind of on that same journey, can you just like send them one of our YouTube videos that would be helpful to them? Just so that you're not telling them what to do, but we all have people in our lives that have been that they express like, oh, I know Sari and I, anytime we are out in public once a year, we get asked what we do. Are you athletes? Do you work out? No, sir, not a single day in my life. Do you do CrossFit? Are you a fighter? Like, there's always something. And then if it comes from a woman, this is interesting. If it comes from a dude, he's normally like, oh, yeah, I got to work on my push-ups. Ugh. If it comes from a woman, it's, I used to be blank.
Very true.
I used to be active. I used to be fit. I used to, before kids or before this and that. And I'm not putting anybody down, but this is always the trend. And so I'm so glad that you guys are here. And if you have anybody in your life that expresses those type of feelings or emotions of like, man, I wish I had your discipline. How many times have you heard that? I wish I had your discipline. Like they see like Sarit's shoulders and just assume that she has amazing discipline because she has great shoulders. Why? Because your external shell is a representation of how you do life. So when somebody can see your muscles are chiseled, you look healthy, you've got a lot of energy. I've also been told like, wow, if I had half of your energy, it's the external representation of me caring about me. Sleeping well, moving my body, putting good stuff in it, talking kindly to me, pumping myself up, encouraging myself. And when I have down days, which I definitely do, or when I have down moments, or when I doubt myself, I acknowledge, and then I'm able now to move through and get myself out of that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes also with Sarit's help. But you get better at doing these things, and all of these things contribute to the ultimate results that you will get long term. I'm not talking about 2 months from now long term. I'm talking about 2 years from now, 5 years from now. The other major problem, we're going off on complete tangents, and I love it. There's, what's that song? I Can't Be Tamed. Is that Miley?
I don't
or
know
Britney
what song you're
Spears?
talking about.
Can't be tamed. I think it's Miley. Anywho, what was I saying?
That you're about to go on a different tangent. You're the one driving the car right now, so I don't know.
Oh, yes. The other thing is that people who you're inspired by, people who live in a way that you aspire to live like, they think in terms of 1 year, 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. They don't think in terms of 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. It's, where am I going to be at if I do this much today? And if I do this much tomorrow? And I do that for 500 days. Where will I be? And I'm not talking about this much like, oh, if I go for a 3-minute walk. I'm talking about this much more. This much more. In 500 days, you will have done this much more. And you'll look back. I'll tell you, if somebody would have told me I'd be sitting where I am sitting today with the body that I'm wearing and the attitude that I have, there's no fucking way I would have believed it. But it happens like this, micro, every day. And we just want you guys to win. So keep showing up for these lives. I'm sure you have more to say, but keep showing up for these lives. Keep watching our videos. If all you take away is all the free shit, you never do a program, you never buy whatever. Buy a shirt though, actually. Remind yourself, what's the every day is day one? You need that reminder because every day is day one. There's a shirt. You can go to shop.aaronandsarit.com. I don't know. It's like $25 or something. I don't know. But just stick around. Be in this community. Engage with people. Don't hide in the corner with your hood up.
You cannot win in life being disengaged. Like, think about it. Tom Brady wins games. I know he's retired. That's fine. But he's still a winner. Not because he sat on the bleachers and
The
bleachers.
His butt might be white by sitting on the bleachers. At least his butt hairs would be white.
Okay. He sat on the reason why he created the life that he created. I don't care what is your opinion of him. He created a significant life. Because he played all in. So put yourself out there. Stop hiding. And stop letting, like, what happened in the past is in the past. Like you told me last night, it's a new moment. I don't care about what happened in the past. It's a new moment. Sometimes we want to justify our past for what happened. What can you do about it? You can't. So stop trying to justify it. Instead, do something about it in this moment to create a different future than your past. Otherwise, your future would be a replica of your past. Simple as that.
I want to say who this video was inspired by because she's here. But the topic of this video was inspired by somebody that's newer to our community, and she's gone all in, and I've seen her show up in so many places. You guys, if you want the best success with your weight loss results, your body transformation results, and your quality of life in general, how you feel about you, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, the way that you believe in you, I am 100% biased, but I also am 100% believe that this is the best community. Okay. Now, why this video was inspired is because I've seen a lot of people come into the community and start out really hot, just like this girl. By the way, it's Natasha C. You're awesome. And keep showing up. I did see your post, and that is why I wanted to talk about this today, because you're not the only one. And so everybody shout out Natasha C. How do you pronounce your last name though? We also chatted Corville. I'm not sure if that's right. However, we start out really hot and then we get discouraged or we get tired or we fizzle out or it's not sustainable. We can't keep up with it. So we don't think we have enough time. But really, when we think we don't have enough time, it's because we're not aware of the time that we're wasting. Most people do it, including you, including me. Or it's because you don't know how to own your time and make it what you want it to be. You think that there are things that you need to do that you don't need to do because they're not helping you. Like when you spend an extra 20 minutes at the grocery store buying shit that doesn't help you get closer to your goals, that's 20 minutes you could have been working out. When you're standing in the candy aisle wondering which candies to get and should I buy 4 and get 1 free, that's time wasted. And if you added all of it up throughout the day, scrolling through social media or, watching TV or whatever, I'm not saying that any of these things are necessarily bad. Just what your intention is with them and what you say you want. If they don't align, then that time can be reassessed, right? However, a lot of people go into, boom, I'm going to start out hard. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then you just can't keep up with it because you're not used to that. You're not used to
and
that.
Also, you haven't yet built a threshold.
Yeah, you're not used to it. You haven't adapted to it.
Yeah, it's like, think about it. When you go from like never running to, let's say, if
5
you were
times
to
a
go
week.
to the, some kind of D1 track team, and coach is like, okay, today for practice, what we're going to do is we're going to do eight rounds of 800 meter laps at 95% of your all-time best. You're like, what's 95%? I don't know. So I'm just going to give it all I got, right? And then come round 2, because you don't yet have the experience, you don't yet have the self-awareness at that caliber, and there's nothing wrong with you, by the way, right? Like, you burn out more quickly, right? So like, you hit your sticking point on lap number 2, and it doesn't make you any lesser than. And this is why I share this with you guys. Like, it's a journey. Expect the sticking points to happen and literally follow through the process.
Mm-hmm. So if you ever feel like something's too much for you and you can't keep up with it, don't quit on it. Here's how you can readjust. Instead of doing the 16 things that you put on your to-do list, do one. Do one and never make an excuse to not do it, because it's only one thing. It's only one thing. For example, if you're trying to work out 5 days a week and you've not been working out at all, you get to reassess. Do I want to try to keep doing that? Or do I want to back down to 3? Just don't quit, right? Do I want to back down to 2? If you've not been doing anything and you start working out 2 days a week, it doesn't seem like much, but that's perfect. Because when you get really good at 2 days a week and you've done that for 3 weeks, you're going to be like, oh, this is so easy.
It's about setting yourself up.
Go 3 days. Cool. This is so easy. Go 4 days. This is so easy. Everything is hard until it's not.
Yeah.
But everything is too hard if you try to do too much. Even if it shouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, last thing before we close this up, if you have more stuff to say, I would love to know from you guys, just pick one thing. Pick only one thing, not 1.5, not a half, not 2. One thing that really hit you today that you get to take away. Why not 2? Because we're doing one thing, because that's easy. Okay? What is one thing? Put it in the comments. What's one thing that you took away from the last hour that you have spent your precious time with us? I would even say invested your precious time with us. That you are going to take with you and you're going to remember and you're going to apply. Don't write it if you're not going to apply it. I'm looking.
And
I got you. I want to see you.
I also see Sarah Morris in the chat, and I want to acknowledge you. We had a conversation a week ago, and I see that you are working with Tay, and I want to say congratulations for that. And if you feel like you're like, well, I just don't know how to do it, or I wish that I could have more support, or I wish it could be simpler, just don't go through it alone, because otherwise you would continue doing the same thing you've always done. And I want to share this with you. It does not make you any lesser than. It does not make you incapable. It's just when we don't know how to do anything differently, we'll continue doing what we've done because it's our comfort zone. This is why even Aaron and I have coaches, because our mind and in life, we operate based on habits. And whether it's our thinking patterns, our thought habits, our lifestyle habits, we will continue doing the same thing that we've always done. However, if you want to take your body from here to here, if you want to take yourself anywhere in life from here to here, you got to do things differently. And sometimes we just don't know how, because we're looking at ourselves from the jar within. And you need somebody to literally look at the jar from the outside in and say, oh, there's a little bit of mold here. There's a little bit of something here. And it doesn't mean that the jar is broken. It just means that you want the outlook of the jar to look different. So if you feel perhaps overwhelmed, or you're like, I don't know where to go from here, or I wish I had more support, just go ahead and drop ES in the chat.
I actually want to take that even a step further. You please drop ES in the chat if that's you. I do want to take that a step further because I just had an idea after you acknowledging Sarah's comment. I have opened my calendar a few times this week to just have chats with you guys, which means actually do have to go in a little bit. But I would love if you really feel like you need help, like you need to not be doing this alone anymore, and you have the community, but you need more. There are tons of like programs and things that we have. If you want to chat with somebody about it, I want to open my schedule just to hear you, hear where you're at, hear what you're going through, what challenges you're coming up against. And we go whatever direction you want to go. I will tell you that in that call, if I think that one of our programs will be amazing for you, I will tell you about it, and I will encourage you to do it. So just know that I'm very transparent and open about it. I've just seen how many people's lives have been transformed, and I can't hold it back. So if you do want that help, I'm happy to. I'm going to pop my email up here so that you can just shoot me an email. Okay, so we'll close this up today. But this has been really fun. Thank you for investing your time in this message. And if you do know somebody in your life that has a hard time with sticking to some kind of regimen or routine, talks down on themselves about their weight or their physical appearance or anything like that, just don't tell them what to do. Just share a video that helped you, that genuinely helped you, that you think will help them. And that's the best gift that you can give to somebody who's struggling with something like that.
So good. So good. It's great hanging out with you guys. Hope you have a beautiful day and weekend ahead, and we'll catch you sometime next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.